When it says that we're live, does it say what platforms are live to you on your front end?
No, it just shows live and the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it? Are you seeking to have the platforms shown?
No, no. I was just curious uh, if I'm broadcasting to a channel, does the audience know where it's broadcasting? They know that it's broadcasting or recording or it's live, but do they know where it's live?
Are you on YouTube right now?
Yeah.
I want to go to YouTube and find out.
No, no. I know it works.
No, no, but that whether uh, um, it can show where you're broadcasting from.
YouTube is not going to show
It does.
where
It doesn't show
else
that
I'm
information.
broadcasting. No, no.
Oh, okay.
It would only be in here
Uh,
in StreamYard. Um, okay. Well, I've got news. So we got to deal with a couple days ago. There's been a few updates. Number one, IBM crashed
what?
earlier this week. Yeah, IBM.
Like all their servers, or?
No, their stock.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Mm.
Let's see
Mm.
some covering.
IBM's
Okay.
very big.
Yeah, very. Now, I say crashed. We are on the 4 hour chart, and we can see that, we were here back in September of 2024. And this was the market structure for the majority of, well, up until basically today, this week, across 668 days. So 668 days of being this is market structure. IBM just had a high, brand new high that they've been testing since October 2025.
Oh,
And this here is June, at the beginning of June of this year, it attempted to go up above. It couldn't maintain it, came back down, tested from below, and then right here, this was Monday. To Tuesday, 22% drop from market close to market open.
holy Dinah. What came out in the news about IBM?
Here's what this says. Bring it up. Key fact: JP Morgan kept an overweight rating on IBM and cut its price target from 291 to 250 per share, reflecting updated near-term valuation guidance. So that basically means they took a look at what was going on and didn't like the future, and so they just said no, we're not paying, we're not accepting more than this.
Ooh. So then what about the future? Didn't they like?
Here we go. IBM warned that quarter two revenue was 17.2 billion and adjusted this I don't know what that EPS is, missing estimates. Shares plunged 25% near 217. So it was just the revenue that came in from the Q2 report, quarter two report, was not pleasing.
Ooh.
They announced that quarter two revenue was around 17 billion, and that brings, yeah, so they estimate a 7% drop in revenue as a result, and that made their stock drop 20 to 25%. Oh, hey, Audrey and Zoe are back there. I didn't hear the beep. Hello,
Um,
hello.
I've been here for a little bit, not since the very beginning, but how does it? I know this has happened before, you pointed it out before, but how it drops between closing and opening. Like,
Yeah. So what it
doesn't that
is
mean
that,
somebody's doing stuff when the market's not open?
good question. I'm going to go ahead and close this. How do I, back to chart. There we go. So let's zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go into now to the hourly chart just so we can see a little bit more definition. Now, there's always a little bit of a spread. Shouldn't say always. There is typically a little bit of a spread every morning. It happens. The reason why is when we look at these bars, we zoom. I'm going to zoom in even more just to this particular one right here. Back here. There we go. Right there. So that bar itself tells us a lot of data. Let's zoom in even more so we can see this one in particular, right here. The left tooth, they call that the open. That's when the price opened that morning. And then the bar itself gives us the price action of the day. So it went down from the open. It started right away at 318. And then immediately there was no time. Oh, there was just a little bit of it. It went up just a notch. Can't see it on that screen, but I can see it on the high def screen over here. It went up a little bit and came down. And then this other side, this other bar here is the closing time. So at open, it was at 317-ish, and at closed, it was at 309. So that distance is being, that market action is being measured on that bar. So when we go to what happened this week, right here, what we're witnessing, that's what I should say, what we're witnessing, this price action, what we're witnessing is we're witnessing in real time the average of the bid price, how much are people bidding to buy the stock, and how much people are selling. So we have a bid price and a sell price, and there's a spread between the two, and what we see is the average between the two. And at every single time there's another order, the order has the bid price. So what is it? What is it? When the bid price starts to go up, the sell price starts to go up. Because if you bid on something, you buy something, you want to profit right away. So the market works like that. We are, every single time this moves, you'll see the price action. This is it right here. Every second that goes by, every once in a while, it doesn't go every second, but every once in a while, you'll see this number change in real time. That's because that's the average price between bid and buy. That's the average price on the most previous order. So every single order, usually this price changes. Sometimes the order goes through and it doesn't change. So this bar here was Monday at the end of the market. So it closed at the very end. The last order came in at 290. The next morning, everybody shows up for work and the bell rung. Ding, 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 ding. Wall Street bell. The first order that came in was from JP Morgan, and they said, fuck you. Your stock's not worth that much anymore. And that was the order. And here's the key. Someone took it. And because someone took it, it validated that price. Oh, now it's worth this. Why? Because that's what the last trade was. Does that help?
and you have a way, like you can know that it was JP Morgan that did that?
Yeah,
that-
because
or is that
the news
reported?
tells us.
Oh, okay, so it's not like you can't look up like who did this order, but
Yep.
because it's JP Morgan, then it's in the news. Oh dear, my cat's heartbroken.
Aw.
She wants to go out. She wants to do things.
So that is, yes, that is the long and short of it. This
So it
big
wasn't
drop.
that somebody did something in between. It's that JP Morgan opened with a finger.
Correct. And someone said, I agree. It was a contract they put up. They put it as a proposal. These proposals are all the time. They're always being put out. And there are people who are on the top side. They've got a proposal for $50 more. And there's people probably with proposals $100 more down.
Okay.
But if the proposal is just a proposal, it's not a
Right.
contract until someone actually grants consent and said, yeah, I'll buy that. I'll put my money there. So JP Morgan, they placed an order saying it's only worth this much. Why? Because the quarterly report came out and we don't appreciate that. Our investors are not happy with this quarterly report. You're not worth as much as we thought you were when we got into this quarter. And so now we're putting up an order for a number of stocks at this price. And somebody said, I agree. And they put their money there.
So when you say they put in an order, was that to sell or to buy?
Yep, to sell.
So doesn't that mean that they also sold their stock at less value than? Do you know what
Yep.
I mean? Like,
Yep,
so they took a loss to just go, hey, we're setting the record straight here. This isn't really worth this.
that's right.
Wow.
We're cutting our losses and we're moving on.
Because they're also seeing like the inevitability. It's going to go down. So we're going to start it.
Yep,
Interesting. Thank you so much.
most welcome. We call those market makers because they simply have order volumes that make the market do things. Market movers they're kind of meta from that. Market movers are going to be the ones that sell up here before that happens because they know it's going to do that. So they sell to the market, and now the market is buying up a bunch of that stuff, and then the market makers make it happen, and then the market movers buy. Why? Because it'll go up. Yeah, they had a bad quarter. So what? And they play both sides of the market. It's like, going to one side of the market where all those tables are, buying the stuff, and then selling it on another table on the other side of the market for a different price, better price.
Kind of like the story of Jim. Kind of. Different.
Yeah, totally. Totally. People say, oh, JP Morgan, such a big company. No. That's the company that the market movers, they execute they make the price happen with their companies. They need the price to go down here so that the market movers can start moving the market. In a way, they need the market makers to push it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great questions.
I might not be on screen here the whole time, but I am listening. I just got to move around a little bit.
Sure thing. Sure thing. DeepSeek. DeepSeek is a Chinese model. I think I can click on English. Yep, there we go. DeepSeek is an open source Chinese model. They are now this open source company, corporation, is they are offering to go public. So now they have an IPO that is that they're looking to raise. They are talking about raising $1.5 billion with a valuation of the entire thing. They value this model at $71 billion. And so they are in talks ahead of a China IPO, roughly a month after its first ever raise, where they just finished raising a month ago $7 billion with a $50 billion evaluation. So they went up in value $21 billion in the last month. And they are looking now to go public, meaning it'll be traded on the stock exchanges. DeepSeek, an open source model that anybody can just go run on their own and train. If you want to train this model, you can. You just got to have the infrastructure to do so. But DeepSeek is an organization that built that model, and they are wanting to take the whole company public so that more people will use them. Why would a Chinese corporate, remember the China system, it's communist, but they encourage capitalism because the capitalists simply serve the government. You see, when a capitalist comes into China and says he wants to build a business, China says, yeah, not a problem. You register your corporation with us, and now you're a part of us. So they are doing the same thing that ChatGPT is doing. Or sorry, OpenAI. ChatGPT is the model. DeepSeek, they've got their models as well. But now the entity that built those models, they want to have an inference that people rent. You can start for free. And the reason they get you to start for free is so that, it's just like GLM, right? You go use it for free online. They want to sell you API, where now you're doing heavy amounts of compute for coding and all that good stuff. But what are they doing with all that data? The same thing that OpenAI is doing with their models. They're taking in all that data. Kara, hello. So that's the news on DeepSeek. Next. Oh, did I lose it? I lost it. What else happened this week? Oh, yeah. OpenAI, their model, by the way, what they did. Oh, or did my screen not track? It did not. Now, should be back again. Let's go ahead back to, so ChatGPT, rather. Let's go like this. OpenAI launched ChatGPT 5.6. They call it Sol, as in SOL, the sun. It is their highest reasoning model yet. Their benchmarks are way up there with Claude Fable. In fact, there are some people who claim that it's just as powerful. So the very thing that a month ago had to be shut down by the government because it was too dangerous for public use, OpenAI built one. And now the concern is already rising about its capacities because users reported that it deleted all their files. It would take their data and move it into other folders. They would even take entire databases and move that database, migrate the entire database to a different server somewhere else that they didn't have control over.
Whoa.
Yeah. Too dangerous for the public to use. I would agree. For the first time, I would agree with the government on this one. It just takes on a mind of its own and does its own thing on its own. No, I'm not going to listen to what you're saying. I'm going to do what you're saying, and I'm going to do something else. Big update in merchant services. This is really big, folks. Stripe is the largest online processor for payment. They are the kingpin for North America processing payments. And they can process payments worldwide through Visa, MasterCard, all that good stuff. They serve North Americans. And I think that you can... No. They do serve globally, but they've all got their own departments because they all have their own legal fiction around the use of their local currencies, right? Well, there's a private equity firm called Advent. They have come together and they offered to buy PayPal at a 28% premium over their stock market price. So they're saying, we think you're 28% more than what the public thinks, and we're going to buy your entire company for that much. What do you say? Why is that important? PayPal hasn't yet integrated with cryptos. They've been in fact, they've been making it clear that they don't like it. But both Stripe and Advent, BlackRock subsidiaries, by the way. Did you know that Mark Carney is on the board for Stripe? Yeah, he's on the board of directors. Stripe just 6 months ago said that they were integrating convertibility. They were turning into an exchange. You could receive fiat and convert it to a USD stablecoin. We're here. So they want to buy PayPal because they want to have more portability with the liquidity that's over there. $53 billion is what PayPal's worth to Stripe. Okay, we've got update in crypto. Remember what I was saying about Ripple? How it was supposed to be a bridge to replace the SWIFT system with all the banks. And then at the beginning of March, the banks all said, yeah, we got our SWIFT system all ready to go for blockchain. Made our own blockchain and everything, and we're connecting it to SWIFT. So they don't need XRP at all. But XRP yet is still getting a lot of attention because now Visa, MasterCard, and Ripple, they have joined. They have now created what's called the X402 Foundation, which was launched by Linux. Circle and Solana have also backed this deal. The 402 is expected to process approximately 75 million transactions worth $24 million over 30 days. So that's just a huge, huge partnership between credit card companies and Ripple. I wonder if that's because Ripple's no longer going to be part of the SWIFT system and they had to pivot. How do we survive now? Oh, let's go to the credit card companies. A trio of Senate Democrats came out against the Crypto Clarity Act at a Washington press conference, calling it corrupt unless it directly addresses President Trump's personal crypto portfolio. And remember how he fleeced everybody with his meme coins?
Isn't this latest water coin his third attempt at fleecing the public?
Yep. And the exchanges dropped it after, what, 30 some hours or something like that. You're like, oh, no, we don't want to use that. We don't want people to be using our platforms to buy that coin anymore. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about it. There's other stuff here, but it's more to do with, Binance. Remember I said that the stablecoin was going to be the strategy that they would use to, it's like the new war bond, right? The U.S. government, or the United States of America, I should say. The U.S. is not a part of that. United States of America only has its capacity, like the dollar itself issued by the Federal Reserve is only backed by the Americans' willingness to support the United States of America in warmongering and arms deals with foreign nations and so on and so forth. That's what the dollar gets, that's how the dollar gets its value. Well, in order for us to continue, especially with the revelations that we're seeing about the U.S.'s incapacity to do anything to Iran militarily, since we're seeing that that's the case, they have to come up with another type of war. And this is where I said I think it's going to be a chip war or an AI war. And that you are going to want to buy the stable coin. Why? Because look at how much economic value Anthropic has given our nation. Look at these companies that are doing amazing things with AI now. AI is going to be like, remember Elon just said last month that the developments that are coming through Neuralink, where they put the chips in your brain and now your brain has a copy of itself in the cloud. Yeah, Neuralink. He said that the science that's coming from Neuralink will be Jesus-like miracles, right? So, of course, everybody, Larry Fink even said that we're going to have no problem building the AI infrastructure we need with all these data centers and everything. We're not going to have a problem with it because people, and I am not paraphrasing, people will be willing to give up their savings accounts and their pensions to make sure that the United States of America remains a leader in AI, because if we don't, China will. So
go China.
The war is on. The war is already on. It's been going on a long time. And that the stable coins are going to be the things that they use to board people onto the metaverse's reset. Oh, you're familiar with the dollar, so we created a digital dollar over here, and it backs your economy, which is flourishing. Look at how AI is making things so abundant for everybody. That's the strategy. So Binance is probably I know it's North America's largest exchange, retail exchange for cryptocurrencies. The next growth phase, they say, will come from payments and financial services, meaning merchants are coming on board next. Payments and financial services. Oh, like Stripe? PayPal? Because that's what they do. They provide payments, transactions. You want to pay for something, you're going to be using a payment processor. Binance is saying payments and financial services, not trading. They are betting on becoming a stablecoin powered super app. So now you can just go to Binance and you've got the whole basket of stable coins that you can use. Look at how safe we're making cryptos for you now.
It warms the cockles of my heart. I'm not sure what heart cockles are, but they're warm, I'm sure.
Especially when they're in the heart.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the
I
news.
feel so
That's
cared for.
what's that?
I feel so cared for.
Yeah. Yeah.
In an Atlas shrugged kind of way.
Right. I'm fascinated by just watching how much people are, in fact, unbelievably, lemmings. It's that much, because what are they going to do? They're going to gravitate towards the safe thing, which is going to be that stable coin that their political party says is the best one. And it won't matter.
Well, and the illusion is coin. The word coin gives the impression that there's something physical here that I can touch because I got coins in my purse. I got coins in my pocket.
Yep.
A stable coin. Invisible ones and zeros.
What a marketing term too, right? Especially when people hear about how, like, look at cryptos. We got started with cryptos just over 2 years ago. 2 years and 1 month. It's 25 months since we dove in and got all of those different L2 coins like Storage and Desync. And they're down 90 some percent. So, right? So those coins are not stable. And so all we got to do is, and a lot of people experience that, all we got to do is get a stable coin. And then people will feel a lot more safe. Now it's not so scary. Binance has an app for that. What's Binance? Oh, yeah, a BlackRock corporation. Coinbase, same thing.
Wasn't Binance the one that the U.S. couldn't get into for what U.S. citizens couldn't get into for a while?
No, that was actually Binance was started in the States. They've always been taking states as customers, the people of the states. It used to be that Canadians could sign up, and I don't know when, but if I had to guess, it had to have been around 2020, 2021. Canadians were no longer able to sign up for Binance.
I thought there was one that we couldn't, and it was trying to get it so that it would accept U.S. or it was doing some of the states for a while and not all of them. I thought it was Binance, but maybe it was something else. It was one of the biggies. Weird.
Something about surveillance that, really hit home for me today. And I knew it, but it had not been fully described in this way. You know how it's like we've got these flock cameras now all over the place. The data centers are going up. They're tracking all of our data, recording everything. Right? Well, think about it for a second. What's the access point where that data actually resides? It's not on your body, so a flock camera can't identify you. How did a flock camera identify you? Oh, let's pause, put a pin in that, and let's rewind to the beginning of 2022 when we all had to shelter in place. What were they doing while we were sheltering? Does anybody know? What was
They
going
were
on?
putting up towers and antenna, more of those.
Tons of them.
And what were those towers for?
Cell phones.
Oh, the little digital identifier in your pocket. Yes, and the 5G towers, they had to calibrate. That's why we had to shelter in place. They had to set them up and have them calibrate while the devices were at home so that when people came back to the streets, there wouldn't be a huge flux of phones in visible range. They had to have it sparse so that they could calibrate the 5G. And as time has gone on, it's gotten better and better and better at being able to identify all the phones individually from each other. Used to be that you had to be socially distanced so that the phones could calibrate with the 5G, but they've gotten better and better, and they're trained and trained and trained. Now, guess what? NVIDIA came out with a tool. NVIDIA came out with a tool that anybody can use now. And in that tool, you can have surveillance footage if you want. You can have footage of a crowd of people, and this new fancy software from NVIDIA that you can install on a nice computer for you video production teams. This software will distinguish each individual face on it and track it all over the screen for you. Up to 250 faces per frame.
Wow.
Oh, and so now we have, these data centers and the flock cameras. Well, the flock cameras, what are they connected to? The internet. This is the surveillance tool.
Well, you remember in Australia, and I don't know if it was all or parts, people had to verify where they were within 15 minutes on their phone, which means they had to have their phone with them and they had to have it on.
Yep.
And they had to respond, and I don't remember what happened if they didn't. I think they'd come to your door or something. It's like...
Yeah. You didn't check in, prisoner.
Right.
And that button on the phone, they call that ping. That's the technical term. So ping, P-I-N-G, is a term. It's used. I can draw a ping on any IP address as long as I have the address. I can ping that address and say respond, and the address that's, as long as it's connected to the internet, it will go, yep, I'm here. It's an open source tool that anybody can use to see whether or not a computer is on the internet or not. So yeah, that button pressing was just getting you, they already knew that your phone was active. It's not like they had to figure out whether or not your phone was connected to the internet. What they wanted was the ping of your location. They wanted to get a timestamp of when the ping was pressed on the device so that they could associate it with the tower and the triangulation of your position. Oh, but it's so nice to be able to just quickly Google a coffee shop. It's so convenient.
There's so many movies right now that you have to check in, that have a check-in. Like there was one called Uglies. They knew exactly where everybody was all the time. And there's other movies that are, I can't remember them right now, but there's a couple other movies that I've watched that it's like a
I
trick.
see. That they depict the populace's need to check in.
Yep.
Yep.
And what's that Timberlake, the Timberlake one, Time? If you've never seen that movie, oh my gosh, need to see that movie where it's on their wrist.
Yeah.
And the time.
And if they run out of time, they're dead.
Oh, and they have to add time to their.
Yes. They have to go and do or work or whatever, and they can change it, trade it amongst each other. But yeah, if you run out of time and you're whatever, you're dead. And it doesn't start until you're 16 or something like that.
The time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Wow.
It wasn't, yeah. But it was, yeah. And the thing is that one time he worked and he's like, well, it's not as much time. How come I didn't get as much time? Well, that's just the way it is.
Yep. There's your inflation.
Yep. Yeah. So they're telling us
everything, folks. You know, it's dystopian for sure. But the only reason those things could possibly happen is if people didn't tokenize their equity themselves. That's why midnight is such an important factor in all of this. You know, it's new. Nobody's using it. Very few people are using it. I'm still trying to get into the first community that was ever started around the whole thing, and they don't even have something set up for themselves to use. They were talking about it, that there's actually about 150 core people that developed Midnight, and it's functional as a coin. You can make transactions, but it's not functional yet in the sense that they can bring governance on chain to a treasury backed by Midnight. So right now, I'm like, I want to get in, but they don't have that part built yet. So we're at the very, very front end of the development of a coin that allows people to tokenize their life force energy, even if it's digital. Right now, we're creating data. This is digital content right now. How do you verify that that content is in your property? Midnight is solving that. So now you can privately tokenize your life force energy in the form of digital assets. You got a book?
Quick, do it before BlackRock does.
Exactly. Just they're going to tokenize everything, and you can
tokenize my life force energy.
Yeah. You can beat them to the punch. That's the beauty of this whole thing. We have everything we need to make their efforts to enslave us inert.
So I have a report whenever there's an opening for that.
There's an opening right now. Go for it.
Well, somehow yesterday was the day to do all the calling to the banks and everything and see what's going on. Because I got a letter from Coinbase when I was in OwnStream, and I was we had a crypto group in OwnStream 22 and 23. And so I invested. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. but we had kind of a moderator that was showing us the ropes. So I invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so yesterday I got a letter that, you have, this is to you, and you have $1,500, that's going to go to the state if you don't claim it. Well, I happen to have all the information. So I called him and I spent 4 hours, I just want to let you know, trying to do a KYC
Oh yeah.
with the Pixel phone number, or with the Pixel, with my passport.
Yeah.
And by the time I was at the end of it, I was willing to sign Renee over to them.
Right. Yeah.
I'm such a wimp.
Is Renee your daughter?
Yeah. Renee.
Take my firstborn, honestly.
Please leave me alone one more time.
What else do you need from me for information to confirm that I am real?
But you see, that is their strategy. That's what the bank did to me in April or March or whenever it was. It was absolutely ridiculous, their demand for information that they already had.
Yeah, because how could I have created the account without it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And invested. And so they already had it. And I remember way back remembering that. But somehow my phone, they never would accept any of my verification, the computer. Anyway,
because they shouldn't have been able to move forward unless they had your KYC on file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did. I opened up a new account because I don't have the Tutanota email anymore. And so that was, so anyway. So, but before that, I also called my own bank, or maybe it was after now, I don't remember. Oh, wait. Anyway, so I called my own bank and I said, because I'm saying, what are the rules around me withdrawing my IRA, and how much can I withdraw daily without, what are the rules around it? So then he said, well, we're not allowed to tell you. By law, they're not allowed to tell you what any rules around the IRS has about withdrawing.
Wow.
I said, oh, you mean, I said, I was a social worker for 32 years and I felt it was my job to support my clients and tell them the best way to apply for things. So you're telling me that you don't have that best interest for me. Is that what you're saying? And I wasn't angry. And then he said, yeah, that's kind of what it is. So I said, well, what if I did this? If I withdrew $5,000, every day, how would that be? And he says, we just can't advise you to do, whatever, we just can't do that. So I said, oh, okay, all right. So anyway, so we talked more about, what are the rules around withdrawals, and can I get cash? And with them, I can deposit into my account and then do whatever, and it's immediate unless I want to come and withdraw cash. Then it's, I think, then we'd have to talk more. I don't know what the daily, I think it's $5,000. I'm not sure that you can withdraw out of cash, but I have to let them know a couple of days in advance. If I'm going to.
In the bank?
Pardon me?
Is the IRA in the bank?
Oh yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. It's in my, oh no, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm holding an IRA in a bank getting like 1% interest. It's like.
So they shouldn't. Okay.
So anyway, just to let you know that, and I said, well, what if I called the IRS? If I called them, and he says, well, we can't discuss anything. And I said, you mean they'd put you in jail if you told me? And he said, yeah. So I said, whoa, good to know.
That is exactly the same thing with what occurred for me in the spring with my bank. They could not tell me that I was under investigation, risking losing their jobs and a hefty fine. So have fun with IRS.
The guards are in prison too.
I already know. what it is. I know what it is. It's $10,000, and then anything 10,000 and over, they have to report to IRS. But that he couldn't tell me that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I was kind of pushing the envelope, being a little bit of a, you know, what would you call it? Kind of a wily coyote kind of, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would say that you're kind of going, look at the sea you're swimming in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was doing. Exactly. That's exactly what I was doing. And let me just move my
Just
head.
in case you feel like you're at the top of the heap, you might want to look around at some of this stuff, you know, because there are people that we will interact with. You know, I think of the video that someone took of going to talk to a pharmacist
Ooh.
back in the day when the vaccines were out, and when they're still out. I realize that they haven't gone anywhere, but when they're still new or somewhere in there anyway, this person went, and again, they were very kind, and but they were like, I want to see the ingredients, you know, and the pharmacist is like, well, they're on this, they're in the package, and it's like they got the pharmacist to take it out and unfold it, and it was this huge piece of paper that was blank, which we'd heard about, you know, they didn't have anything written on it, and the pharmacist in that went like, oh, like, this isn't right.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't feel, I can't remember what they said, but it was like, you could see the beginnings of like, I have to actually question whether I should be in this profession or not. So there will be people, in a way you were doing what Paul calls, but I don't like, it's not just the terminology, I don't like the energy behind it either, but I wouldn't say you were fishing them out, but you're reflecting to them what the reality is here. Like, this is what's gotten normalized, folks. You're in it.
Exactly. That's what I wanted him to see, even though I knew what it was. You know, I just wanted to play a little bit, you know, like.
And you're there with your energy of like, I'm actually finding ways to come out of this.
Yeah.
If you only knew how much. There's this man known as Paul, who's not in Canada.
So anyway, and then what else did I do? Something else. It was well, and what was interesting, and Audrey-Lynn, I'd be interested in how you dealt with this too. At first, I would go down this. I felt like an accordion going out to full expansion of anxiety and, you know, all that, and then suddenly go back to normal, and kind of sit there for a minute, and then go back, and then something else would happen, and I'd go out, you know, and then I'd be able to like recalibrate, come back, so that actually I could sleep at night, and I didn't have any anxiety or anything over it.
My anxiety was over not knowing why, not having a clear answer, and giving clear answers, giving all of the information to each of the representatives, agents that I had to deal with. That was a huge stress. The fact of the money being held, like not having access to the money. I was in a position where I had enough cash on hand that I'm okay. So for me, definitely it was the huge thing of why? What did I do wrong? I've given you this information, like I think 3 or 4 times. I gave them all the same files, and what was it? I can't remember. Oh, it was one of the conversations that I had previously with one of the representatives that they actually sent me an email follow-up on that they finally gave them all the information again, and within 3 days I had my access to my funds again.
Of course, yours is very different because they weren't holding my funds in any way. That's very different. That's very different than what I was going through, I think.
And,
Very-
and the similarity that I see is the agent's inability to give to give any information. I mean, they would be happy to take your funds. Oh yes, give them to me now. You'll be right in there right now. Oh, you want them out? That's fairly problematic. Why do you want your money? What are you going to do with it?
See, and that was too, like, they wanted to know what I was going to do with it. Like, what do you need cash for? What do you need $30,000?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I said, I'm going to buy a mobile home.
Yeah.
I've heard people
That's
say
the first
really
thing that came
outrageous
out of my
things like they're well, I have
None
this
of your business.
map that I need to fill, or there's a prostitute down the street that I'd really like to employ, or there's this personal toy that I really need, or just something that is it's totally none of their business.
I had a friend that did that once. Actually, he was taking out $17,000 to buy a car for his son, and he went to take it out, and the bank said, "What are you using this money for?" And he goes, "Oh, hookers and blow." And it was like he stopped and like, "What?" He goes, "Well, like what I mean is, like fuck, I'll tell you."
That would have been another level for me.
Yeah.
I just thought, no, I don't want to. And I did think about this too before. They're going to ask, because they've asked me before, what do you need the cash for?
Yeah.
And it's always been for contractors, and or the dentist.
Yeah.
The dentist wants cash because then I got a break. So I mean, that is the truth. That's what's happened. But this time it was a lie. But I thought about it. Oh, if they ask me, and then I was trying to figure out what could I do? What could I say? Because I don't want it. No, thank you. I already had enough.
It's a matter of disclosure.
People
Yeah,
like
so
acronyms.
I tell you, but I didn't
Yeah.
want to start that battle. I figured one battle was enough.
People like acronyms.
Mhm.
Yeah.
NYFB.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we have been programmed all the way through to answer questions just automatically. And actually, this whole thing with the census is teaching me that to question when somebody I don't know calls out my name or communicates with me. I'm currently practicing the scenario of someone walking up to me and saying, "Do you live at?" And my response being, "Why do you need to know that?" Or calling me by name and asking, "How did you get that information? Where did that come from? Who are you?" Instead of, "Oh yeah,
We're trained to answer questions, not ask them.
Mhm.
And it's the anomaly when somebody answers a question with a question.
Yep.
Period.
I have a very mundane example of this, what you're talking about, this growing awareness, and this is from a couple years ago. I went to visit someone else whose office was in a building, and you had to go into their parking lot. And I went in. I don't remember what didn't work. The ticket thing, it wasn't giving out tickets, so it was not dispensing tickets. And I went in, I think I did the meeting, and I came out. And so then I was dealing with a person, and they were asking for my ticket, and I'm like, it wasn't dispensing tickets. I don't know if I actually had the meeting or I actually just did a quick turnaround and wasn't going to stay there because maybe our plans changed or something. And so they said, well, okay, but so you need to give us your license. I need to see your ID. And I was just like, wait a second. I'm leaving here. Your machine didn't give out a ticket. What do you mean I have to identify myself to get out? Like, I was just like, no, I don't think so. And they pushed a couple
identify
times.
myself coming in.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, it's like, and maybe it's to cover why they had to, so they don't get charged or something. But it's like, I just like that would have never occurred to me before to go, wait a second. It would have been like, oh yes, here's my ID. I'm who I nobody said who I was. Why am I doing this? But it was so, and the person seemed so baffled that I was like, wait a second. And I wasn't freaking out, but it was just like, that doesn't really make sense.
That reminds me of the time Paul and I went through one of the national park booths here. I think it was last summer, and we, stopped and had a conversation with the attendant, and they wanted like $20 for us to just drive through. We're not stopping; we're just going home. And Paul asked, "Well, what happens if we don't pay?" And she got really uncomfortable, and she said, "Nothing," and insinuated that we would be orifices of immense proportions if we didn't pay. And we just wait by. I don't have to identify if I don't have, I don't like this situation. What are you going to do? Oh, okay. Well,
You're going to keep me in here in this parking lot? Like, are you going to not let me out of your parking lot? Am I going to block up the traffic so that other people can't come through?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you want? You want me to stay? What's up? Like, come on. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I got an identifier that I can entertain myself with while you are making me wait.
In the US, it's actually, I think it's 3 to 5 minutes that you have before you're charged. You can go in
a
turn
parking
around. Yeah, or it used to be. I wouldn't count on that, but notice that you can go in and turn around and come back out.
Wow.
You can go in, drop something off, and then come back out. It was now I because I knew I dated a man that was head of LAX parking, and you can go in and it's a certain amount of time that they have to let you not charge you, and I don't know why. It's like, I think you can go into Costco and go to the pharmacy. There's that kind of thing. You can go in without paying and access the pharmacy, and unless they want to follow you around, you can do whatever you want, I guess, in there. Well, I guess you can't pay now. They have you show your card as you pay. That's right. Yeah. So that's probably not true with Costco. I mean, buy anything. You can still go in and access the pharmacy without paying, without having a card.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll use that information for all my prescriptions that I don't have.
Yeah, I don't have any prescriptions either. So.
Oh, wow. It's after 1. I realize I have to go. Because of the great coaching here, I'm actually going across town to get some precious metals. Yay! For my partner. That's even a bigger deal.
Nice.
I mean, he's, it will eventually be his purchase, but I'm doing it first and then I'll transfer them over. So.
Awesome. Congrats.
But I better go because it is across town.
Oh, yeah.
Wait just 1 second before you go.
Sure.
I just want to call this one question, and it may be of interest to you. Is there a diversification that would be helpful with metals like platinum or palladium, I think they call it, or copper?
You could. It's harder to move those in a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're good to have for, holding your wealth. But in a crisis, gold and silver are the materials, the metals that people gravitate towards for trade. And so if there is a financial crisis, people will be less likely to rebuy those like palladium. Copper wouldn't be bad. Copper's not a bad thing to have. But what's that?
Money Metals is selling copper.
Yeah.
4 ounces of copper now. But I was also thinking like diamonds. It's so much easier to hold diamonds than it is like, 50 ounces or 60 ounces of silver, you know.
Well, okay, so then the question is, what form of diamonds are you getting? Because if you
Yeah.
get diamonds that are finely cut, you're paying retail price. And
Mm.
retail prices of diamonds are overinflated by about 40,000%.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So if you're getting diamond, it's not a bad idea, but don't get retail diamond. Get industrial diamond that actually has use in construction.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Let me-
funny. People think diamonds are worth so much money. No, you take diamond and you can actually put it on the end of a bit that drills through concrete without having to use as much steel, which is more expensive than the diamond. And
Wow.
the diamond bit, you know, it's, you know, $200 of diamond will last you for weeks of drilling.
And diamonds can be manufactured,
And
grown.
now you can manufacture them, yeah.
So, you know, how much value is a natural diamond over a made diamond, a human-made diamond?
And
So art
oh,
is
sorry.
also another thing. No, I was just thinking, you know, you've suggested to buy fine art, but
Yeah.
like I'm thinking I'm the untrained eye. So how do I?
Oh, it's not about whether or not you have the trained eye, it's whether or not it inspires you and whether or not it maintains its value.
Mhm.
Right? If you like it and you just want it on your wall, spend as much as you want. But if you want an art piece that maintains its value, you don't necessarily buy it. Like, buy it because you like it and put it up in your living room. But if you don't
Yeah.
particularly like it, cover it up, put it in the attic, and bring it out in 6 years, 10 years, 20 years, and it'll be worth the same.
Okay, so that would be, so I'm just thinking, would you do like, I mean, I love Impressionists. And the Californian Impressionists are just, to me, an amazing, I just think they're beautiful. And
Yep.
we have some, you know, but they're not worth anything, you know, we didn't pay a lot of money for them and they're not worth a lot, but I don't know how to tell if they're worth either. So that's part of it too. But I just wanted you to have Zoa, to have, you know, maybe precious metals. Maybe you Paul would say,
I don't have any choice of we already
Mhm.
arranged silver. And, you know, there's a volatility with silver that makes it attractive right now, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know if volatility is the right word, but some word that Paul used. It's going to go up. And while I'm not dependent on it going up, that's not necessarily why I'm getting it. It seems like a benefit. What I've gotten already has gone up, so that's nice. Not as much as Paul's, but so I better go though. So great to see you all. We'll see you again when next our paths cross.
Take care. Anything else? Any other closing thoughts? I do have another appointment coming up here soon, so yeah, take care, Maureen.
thank you.
Most welcome.
You're looking a lot better, Audrey Lynn. I'm glad to see that.
Seems to be getting better, a little bit better every day. I'm learning energy management, and it sucks.
Is that Cara?
It sure is.
Well, hi, Cara. And I wanted to say, Audrey, I remember we talked about doing a spreadsheet, and I'd love to. I don't know how to do that. It's whenever you want to do that would be, you know, we could get together and talk about that too.
We had booked it for last Monday, but then you had to go or something.
Oh,
To
okay.
some other meeting.
What was that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'd have to think about it. But what you want to do it for? Oh, and then I forgot about. I didn't know. I just forgot about it. To be honest,
Yeah,
I need.
I know you didn't write it down.
I did. I didn't write it down, and I need to. You want to do it this next Monday?
I can't,
Okay. Well,
not Monday or Tuesday. Why don't, Monday I will be at market analysis,
okay.
but I'll have to go.
Well,
We can book something next Monday if you're good if you're there.
let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay.
All right, good. Thank you.
You bet.
And I apologize for my